Hello, very good afternoon to one and all. I hope all of you are doing well in this particular pandemic situation. So I request all of you to stay at home and stay safe. So now this is I think almost 1 year we are meeting again, and I had a great pleasure when I taught you the biochemistry one and environmental science one in the first year B Farm. And I very much remember that when I was teaching you biochemistry one, you people paid very much attention, and as and when I was telling you to note down the structure, to draw the structure on the last page of your notebook, immediately you people were drawing the structure on the last page of your notebook, and as a result, you people gradually become more confident about drawing the structure and remembering the different methods that I had taught you. Even there are few shortcuts that I had taught you to remember the structure that you were noting down very much, and I was very happy with that particular kind gesture that you had shown. Even when I was in the second semester, I was taking your environmental science. I took the feedback from your class regarding the structure that were discussed in the semester one. You people in the B division, I remember Archit and Shruti and other few students gave very good feedback about the structure and the methodology which I had used to percolate the information from my end to your end, that is, from giver ends to the receiver ends. And the same thing, same kind of the kind gesture I want from all of you in this particular semester. Here also, as the biochemistry, the name indicates itself chemistry, it is a branch of chemistry, and if chemistry is there, structure is bound to come. Now, if the structure is there, obviously you cannot read the structure. Yes, yes or no? So the thing is, you need to immediately draw the structure. So as in when, as this is a online media, but I consider that this is an offline media. What I feel online is the direct interaction, eye to eye contact is what I feel that is online. And this is what we are doing is not online. This is the virtual learning. It is a virtual learning platform that is provided, and we are using that particular virtual learning. So in this particular thing, I may not be able to keep a direct eye-to-eye contact with you, but the trust I can keep on you, the confidence that is there with me, that if I will display some structure, immediately you people will write down or note down that structure in your notebook. So I request all of you to please sit with your notebook and pen, and as and when some any kind of information or any kind of the some concepts or any shortcut thing that I use to percolate to you, immediately you note it down, and that thing definitely is going to help you when you will start reading for your exam or when you start reading for any kind of the competitive exam in future. Okay, so these all are the basic things. Now again, I'm reiterating that the biochemistry is a little bit conceptual subject, like what biochemistry one you had in the semester one. Semester two, I don't know who has taught you, but in the semester five, again I welcome all of you to the semester five. This is, I think, the first time happening that without exam people is promoted and you are getting the direct advantage of it. So I feel you people are the most luckiest people who got promoted from semester four to semester five without exam. So congratulations one and all. But I want you to study hard in this particular pandemic situation, because this is one of the golden period which will never come in your life again. Okay, so with this, I would like to start uh, the syllabus or the content, that is what we are going to study in this particular thing. One more thing before I just click in my mind. Before I will start with this, I told you that in the vitamin also, that you people knows everything. Vitamin A, D, E, K, vitamin vitamin B complex, vitamin C, everything you know. Only little bit brush up you have done in the regular classes, and I showed you some different techniques, different methods of higher level, whereby you can remember the particular thing. The same thing I am telling you now in this particular biochemistry 3. The syllabus consists of DNA, RNA, and protein. I know that around 75 to 80% of the things you know. There is nothing new in this particular thing. DNA, RNA, and protein, which people were studied, you people have studied in your 8th, 9th, 10th class, and also in the 11th and 12th science classes. So there is nothing new that in this particular thing. Only there are few conceptual things. That is what on this we are going to focus. All of you clear with this? Now, as I told you that we are going on higher side and some conceptual things are there. So along with the slide, there are so many YouTube videos are available, and with the help of that videos, we are going to clear the concepts. We are going to see how actually the process is taking place. Till time what happened, we have studied in the book, we have seen some presentation, and after taking the Xerox, we have appeared in the exam and we have got the good marks. That is what the general strategy. But now, what I feel is you actually go into the details of this particular biochemistry subject, whereby I have so many videos. That video I will share with you on WhatsApp or on any other platform. And as and when you will get a time, you immediately open up that video and start seeing that what is the content of that particular video, and that video is related to the subject only, the syllabus only, so that that video will give you a deeper insight of that particular concept and will clarify all your doubts. Besides this virtual learning, there is another platform that I want you to study at your home is through video. So YouTube video and some other videos which are there with me, that time to time I will share with you, and I request all of you to make a separate folder for that video in your laptop or computer or in your mobile, stating the folder name Biochemistry 3 Semester 5, and along with the video you write down the name of that particular video in short form, so that it will be easy for you to retrieve. There are two things, archiving and retrieving. If you have not archived the things properly, you cannot retrieve the things properly. So as and when you are archiving the things in your repositories, you need to be very cautious, very careful that by which name, at which place, and how you are archiving it, so that the retrieving is a single click away. Okay, so with this, I would like to share my screen over here, as this is the recorded lecture. We will take one or two recorded lecture, and then I will take one live lecture, whereby we will see the how the students, like you people, are getting the things, and accordingly we will go ahead. So today and tomorrow I will be uploading the recorded lecture, and I will take your feedback, and based upon these two lectures, I will go ahead in the next week. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen, whereby the today's presentation I'm going to start, and it is of a biochemistry 3 subject. I hope all of you able to see this. A minute. Okay. So 1 minute. Yes. Now I think it is visible for you. So introduction to biochemistry, the basic things. What introduction part I am going to take right now, and in this I will first introduce with you the syllabus of the biochemistry 3. As you know that this is an elective subject, which is 2 hours per week subject, and it is I think 50 marks paper. So 35 marks or 40 marks paper, semester paper will be there. Okay, and it is a comparatively easy and scoring subject. I am repeating it is comparatively easy and scoring subject. Now, why I am telling you easy? Because whatever the things I am going to tell you, DNA, RNA, E. coli, chromosome, replication, transcription, eukaryotes, prokaryotes, these all are the words you are already familiar. And scoring I am telling you because this is the moreover the theoretical concept, and directly 3 marks, 4 marks questions are there in the exam. So there are high chances that you will get full marks. If you have drawn the correct structure, if you have drawn the correct methodology, then you will get a correct and full marks. Okay. So I wish all of you get good marks, good knowledge with this particular biochemistry 3 syllabus and subject. We'll see the syllabus now. So it contains mainly the cell. That is, the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life or human being, and that cell is of two types: prokaryotes, eukaryotes. Along with that, in detail, we are going to study the DNA, RNA, chromosome, mitochondria, DNA replication. Then DNA to DNA is DNA replication, DNA to RNA is transcription, and RNA to protein is transcription. So these are the various steps we are going to see how DNA recombination is taking place. Holiday model is there, transformation, how it is taking place, what is DNA polymorphism, what is SNP, then the transcription of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, RNA splicing, how messenger RNA works, transcription and translational differences in prokaryotes, and how if damage is there, how DNA repair will be there, excision and nucleotide excision, definition of mutation, mutagen, gene regulation, and different kind of the things that is which is related to the this all the things comes under the biology, but it is more over related to the biotechnology. Okay, so indirectly you people are studying the biotechnology. So tomorrow, if anyone to go to the genomics or the genomic kind of the thing where the biotechnology field is there, or someone want to do the MTech in biotechnology, it is very helpful for that particular student in this particular subject. Now we'll start with the first thing, that is the cell, that is definition. So the cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Okay, so the basic thing is human body or animal body is made up of the cell, and this cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. It may be also regarded as a basic unit of biological activity. So what all the activity we are doing, for that also the cell is responsible. The living matter is composed of mainly carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. So together, this element constitute about 90% of dry body weight, dry human body weight. Okay. Several other constituents are also found in the cell. It includes calcium, potassium, sodium, chloride, magnesium, ferric, copper, cobalt, zinc, etc. So these all are the macro and micro elements which are present in the cell, and as a result, this is a conformation of the cell. Now, the major complex biomolecules of the cell includes protein, DNA, RNA, glucose, and lipids. Now we'll start from the lipid. So lipid is nothing but a fat. That fat is a storage form of the energy to meet the long-term demand. So if you are on fasting for 1 day, 2 day, or 1 month, like in the Ramjan, 1 month is there. So during that particular period, that lipid or the fats will provide energy to our body. Second thing is glucose. Glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. They are monosaccharide, and they are storage form of the energy to meet the short-term demand. Tomorrow, today you have taken the breakfast, and that breakfast will give you the energy to execute your routine activity. Then DNA. So DNA is the main repository of the hereditary information. From DNA, RNA is synthesized, that is ribonucleotide, that is essentially it is required for protein synthesis. And from RNA, protein will synthesize, and that protein consists of amino acid, repeated units of amino acid, and that amino acid is fundamental basis of structural and function of the cells. So these are the main five complex biomolecules are there. First one is lipid, glycogen, DNA, RNA, and protein. Now we see the cell, how cell is worked. So the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Cells is of two types, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotic cells are present in bacteria, whereas eukaryotic cells present in animal and plants. Now, these prokaryotes, follow please. Prokaryotes, pro means before and karyon means nucleus. Lack of well-defined nucleus and possesses relatively simple structure. Now, this prokaryote is present in the bacteria. Bacteria is structure is not defined. So here also the nucleus is not well defined, and it is relatively simple structure because there is no requirement of any complex things to do. So that's why it possesses relatively simple structure, and this includes various bacteria. And second type of the cell is eukaryotes. Eu means true and karyon indicates nucleus. It possesses a well-defined nucleus and are more complex in their structure and function. So these are the present in human, animal, and plants because of we need to perform some complex function, complex routine activity. Our cell is also complex, and the complex structure and having a well-defined nucleus. So that is come under the heading of eukaryotes. So here the comparison is given of eukaryotes and prokaryotes considering various characteristics, that is size, cell membrane, subcellular organelle, nucleus, energy metabolism, cell division, and cytoplasm. So we have seen the nucleus already, that is nucleus is not well defined. In the case of eukaryote, nucleus is well defined. Now as long as size is concerned, the size is small. Prokaryotes because they have some bacteria, and eukaryotes it is there in the human, so obviously the size is large. Cell membrane is enveloped by a rigid cell wall, and cell membrane is enveloped by flexible plasma membrane. You can see the difference. Over there cell wall is there, here the plasma membrane is there. Subcellular organelle is present over here in the eukaryotic cell, that is mitochondria, nucleus, lysosome, Golgi body, cytoplasm, etc. Energy metabolism, mitochondria is absent. Over here, energy metabolism is there because it is mitochondria is there. Cell division, usually fission, and no mitosis. Over here in the mitosis is there. And the cytoplasm, organelles and cytoskeleton is absent. And eukaryotic contains organelles and cytoskeleton. So this is a very well comparison of prokaryotes and eukaryotes in the cell. Now all of you might be knowing this. This is a cell structure. This is a rat liver cell, whereby we can make out, we can recollect our old golden memories of 11th and 12th standard, where we have seen the very first chapter in the biology, the cell, and the very first figure on the cover page of the biology book is this cell only. So you can make out the few important points over here. That is nucleus, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosome, cytosol, ribosome, vacuole, plasma membrane, and mitochondria. So these are the few important things which is present in the cell. So as and when you will get a time, please see this figure, and if possible try to remember this in your memory. So we'll see the further part, that is nucleus. Nucleus is the largest cellular organelle surrounded by the double membrane nuclear envelope. The outer membrane is continuous with membrane of endoplasmic reticulum. So in the cell, the nucleus is there, which is the largest cellular organelle, which is surrounded by double membrane layer envelope, and the outer membrane is continuous with the membrane of endoplasmic reticulum. So you can see over here the endoplasmic, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and here the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is present. Next one, nucleus. Now, nucleus contains DNA, the repository of genetic information. I told you that for us, the DNA is very important. It is a repository of genetic information. Information was there in your grandparents. We come to your parents, and we come to you, and we go to your children, and we go to your grandchildren. Okay. Eukaryotic DNA is associated with basic protein, that is histone, in the ratio of 1:1 to form nucleosomes. Okay. It is associated with the protein and in the ratio of 1:1, and it will form a nucleosome. An assembly of nucleosomes constitute chromatin fiber. That assembly contains chromatin fiber of chromosomes. Chromosomes means chroma means color and soma means body. So whatever the color right now you have, light or dark or some white or blackish kind of the color, that is because of the chromosomes which were present in the nucleosomes. Nucleosome is nothing but the basic protein associated with the DNA in the ratio of 1:1, and that nucleosome is the present in the DNA, and DNA is the basic protein. Thus, a single human chromosome is composed of about a million nucleosomes. The number of chromosomes is a characteristic feature of species. Humans have 46 chromosomes compactly packed in the nucleus. So, around 46 chromosomes are there, which is compactly packed. And depending upon that, our color, size, shape of our human body, whether we are healthy or we are weak or we are overweighted or we are maintained properly, all these things were decided. There are few uh, important part of the cell is mitochondria, that is the powerhouse of the cell. Endoplasmic reticulum ER, that is a network of membrane and float spaces that extend throughout the endoplasmic reticulum, throughout the cytoplasm, constitute the endoplasmic reticulum. So these are the network of the membrane, endoplasmic reticulum. And the last one is Golgi apparatus, are a cluster of membrane vesicles of which a newly synthesized proteins are handed over for further processing and export. So this Golgi apparatus will synthesize proteins and it will handed over for further processing and export. So different cytoplasm and different other parts are also taken for the points over here to brush up your memory. Another thing that we are going to see over here is translation and transcription. So the conventional concept of the central dogma of life in essence is DNA makes RNA, RNA makes protein. So this is what the central dogma of the life. Now there are two to three important concepts that you need to learn from this slide. If possible, I request all of you to note down in your notebook. So there are three things, that is replication, transcription, and translation. So the conventionally if DNA is converted into DNA, that particular process is called as replication. If DNA is converted into RNA, that process is called as transcription. And if RNA is converted into protein, that particular process is called as translation. This is also conventional concept. Pre-bioinformatics. Right now, with the advent of new technology, emerging tools, emerging instruments, and emerging information, which is available at a single click, the new era of biochemistry is called as bioinformatics because we are trying to extract out information from all these codes. So that's why that particular branch of chemistry, biochemistry, or biology is called as bioinformatics. If the new branch is come, they have changed some terminology. So DNA they are calling it a genome, and from genome to genome it is a replication. From genome to transcriptome it is called as transcription, and from transcriptome to proteome it is called as translation. This is a new concept right now. represented by two methods, that is conventional method and bioinformatics method. I hope you people understand. If possible, please try and understand this concept, very important concept. So the advent, I told you bioinformatics, the term genome, transcriptome, and proteome are in the current use in the central dogma of the molecular biology or cell biology or normal biology or even in the case of biochemistry. Genome. So we'll see as per the bioinformatics terminology, that is genome, that is genome. So the total DNA, that is genetic information contained in an organism or a cell is regarded as a genome. So I have my own information in my genome, and that particular DNA, the total DNA, is called as genome. Thus, the genome is storehouse of biological information. It includes chromosomes in the nucleus and the DNA in the mitochondria and chloroplast. Chromosomes in the nucleus and DNA in the mitochondria and chloroplast. That is genome. And what is genomics? So the study of structure and function of genome is genomics. The term functional genomics is used to represent the gene expression and relationship of gene with gene products. Structural genomics refers to the structural motifs and complete protein structure. So the functional genomics is used to represent gene expression, how it is expressing from one generation to another generation, and relationship of gene with gene product. Next is structural genomics refers to the structural motif and complete protein structure. So if one structure is there, one generation, another structure may change because of some modification, mitosis, meiosis. So what all the changes are there? And as a result, some hereditary changes are there in some people, or some hereditary things are carried forward. Like if suppose parent is having, mother is having diabetes, the child, the boy will be having, will have high chances that in future that person may be having or may report diabetes. Or the same with the BP. Or I saw some cases whereby the history of cardiac arrest is there. Father was died with because of cardiac arrest. Son is also died because of the cardiac arrest, and the third generation is also having the same problem. So like that cases are there. So that particular study of this all this information is called as genomics. Comparative genomics is involves the study of comparative gene function and phylogeny. Phylogeny. Now, what is phylogeny? Phylogeny is evolutionary development and diversification of the species. So, from one species, if suppose the next generation is evolved drastically, is changed, and some diversion is there. So, what is the difference in between the evolved generation and the existing one? That is called as comparative genomics. I hope all of you understood this thing. The part nucleic acid and nucleotides will take in the next lecture. Till time, all of you please study this particular video, listen this once or twice, and after tomorrow's lecture, I will take live lecture and I will take out your queries or doubts, and accordingly, based, accordingly we will go ahead. Thank you very much, all of you, and thanks for paying the attention.